everyone! Welcome to this week's recap of The Bachelorette.
Alright, so they're in Dubrovnik, Croatia. Yes, where my mom is, well, the country where my mom is from, Croatia.
I don't think Brady watched.
Probably not. And she definitely would not comment anyway. But Emily had to leave Ricky at home. She probably couldn't get her a visa. And that country's a little scary anyway. It's only freshly, pretty much, uncommunist, so...
Alright, well, Emily says it's a totally different world.
And she's right. Alright, so Travis gets the first date card, and it was, let's look for love beyond the walls.
It's just like Gondor.
Those walls are there for a reason. The country was war-torn. That's how they had to defend themselves. So they go for a date in the old city, and they start off with a little bit of ice cream. And judging from the stories that my mom used to tell growing up, I would have sworn it was octopus ice cream.
No, anyway.
But they said it was pistachio.
Then they conveniently walked by this balancing stone, and if you can stand on the stone and take off either your shirt or your jacket, you'll be lucky in love.
Alright, well, Travis had a little trouble doing it. And then he finally got up there for like a split second and was like, okay. And she was like...
He couldn't take off his shirt or jacket.
No.
She was like, what's under there?
A robot?
He's Kyle XY. You found him out. He doesn't have a belly button.
Well, they go to dinner, and she finds out that he hasn't dated for a full 2 years since he broke up with his fiancée.
Alright, well...
But it's okay because either one of them didn't do anything wrong.
Alright.
Neither one. They just... Alright, back at the really nice hotel that was probably built after the fall of communism because it was way too nice.
Date card showed up for the group date,
yeah.
And it said, lasting love requires bravery.
Which means Ryan gets the one-on-one, the final one-on-one this week.
He's crazy.
He's a little weird. Alright, so it's Rose time at the old one-on-one date, and Travis is really a great guy. But there's 0% chemistry.
That's sad.
It's pretty obvious that he's not her type, even before they met.
He's too nice.
Yeah. He was really upset, too. And it was raining, and he threw his umbrella.
But not in the Gene Kelly singing in the rain way.
It was so no one could see him cry. They wouldn't know if it was the rain or his tears.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's group date time. And
they go to the movies for an advanced screening of Brave.
I think that movie theater was under renovation because it looks like they took the center seats out. It looked like the holes in the floor were there for it, but there was no seats there.
I don't know.
Alright, well, it looked like a really good movie, actually.
They're going with the whole Brave theme because that movie's coming out soon.
So,
getting the moolah for the advertising.
Exactly. So guess what? They're going to reenact the movie. They're going to have the Highland Games. And I've come to the conclusion that only this a-hole show would go to Croatia and then have a whole Scotland-themed activity for them to do.
It didn't make sense.
Was it not in the budget? Did they have to go to like this almost third world country? And, you know, oh, it's so romantic because there's nothing here. Or they couldn't afford Scotland. Is that what it was? Alright, so part of the whole shebang here was that they had to ride donkeys.
Which is like a Croatian thing. So I was like, what's going on? This is like...
I guess they had to tie it in somehow. But the old bagpiper was the host. It was just too weird.
They were also wearing kilts.
And they did have underwear on underneath because they probably would have gotten some sort of infestation from the donkeys because they did look slightly dirty.
I felt bad for the donkeys.
I did too. I hate when they use animals in situations like that. So then the second part was archery. And Chris sucked at it.
Yeah, he completely missed the target.
When he was shooting, he was totally doing a booty tooch. He must have thought he was on America's Next Top Bachelor model.
Wrong show. Alright, so the next task was to throw a log, but you had to, like, have it completely...
flip over.
Yeah.
Chris was disqualified.
Yeah. And Sean broke his log.
I think it was because it was rotten, not because he was, like,
He's
strong.
strong.
Yeah. Whatever. And then they did something called Made Leash, which is a tug of war for
It's
two
like
people.
two dogs fighting for the same toy.
Exactly. And Chris chose Doug as, to face off against, and that pretty much impressed Emily. Why? I don't know, because it was a stupid move.
Yeah.
Because Doug beat him in like 2 seconds, and he almost went flying over Doug.
Yeah.
Doug's an abuser. Of course he's going to win.
So then at the end of the Highland Games, Emily gave out this Bravest Cup thing award.
The dumbest cup for
So
being
she gave
dumb.
it to Chris because he was so brave to go first and then to pick someone who was stronger than him.
He's dumb and pathetic. Then they had this awkward makeout where she was actually cringing
It was weird.
most
I felt
of the time.
uncomfortable.
It was like, she was. Go back and watch it again. All right, so then at dinner with the group, Ari stole her away and they went for a little walk on the shiny streets of Dubrovnik in the old city. He pushes her up against the wall and literally tries to suck her brain out through her mouth.
It was like Harry Potter with the Dementors.
Exactly. I think he actually succeeded too. But wait, back at the house, the date card arrives for Ryan. The world is our oyster. All right, so after she's done getting her brain sucked out,
Next.
she hooks up with Jeff. And then, I can't believe, after making out with those two, she runs to get the rose to give it to Randall from Monsters, Inc., a.k.a. Chris.
Oh, boy.
Eh,
Yeah, it was a little unexpected.
what is up with that?
I don't know. But let's move on to Ryan's date.
All right, everyone thinks he's a creeper. Because he is. So they go on a little road trip and we find out that he sucks at driving.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And she thought it was funny. I would have been like, pull this car over right now. I am not risking my life with a doucher like you.
Yeah, so then they were on this boat eating like raw oysters and...
She was like, no. She went and spit it out. They were all like, swallow it. And the Croatian guy was like, da. And she was like, I guess she couldn't go all backwoods Virginia on its ass. She had to spit it out.
She wasn't pulling the limbs off of that oyster.
No. Well, it didn't have any.
All right. Well, Ryan made it very clear that he wants a trophy wife. He said it about 50,000 times.
She don't like that, but she do, but she don't. So she says.
So it's time for dinner.
And he wore the old turquoise shoes.
It was like the Pope's red shoes,
but in turquoise.
But in turquoise.
Yeah. And he was up all night because he couldn't sleep. He was so excited that he wrote 12 things that he wants in a wife.
Gosh.
And when he said the servant one, what did you think he said?
I don't remember, but I didn't think it was servant. And when I heard that it was servant, I was appalled.
But she's okay with his list, except that love and family wasn't on the top of it. So that didn't sit too well with her.
I don't think I'd be okay with servant,
No.
among other things.
I maybe would have if it was put a different way.
I don't like the term servant.
No. All right. Well, how about hired help? No.
Mm-mm.
How does that grab you?
No.
All right. So she doesn't give him the rose. But wait, it doesn't stop there.
Ugh, he tries to talk her into giving him the rose, and we're just
Blah,
sitting here
blah,
for
blah, blah.
more time.
He was droning on and on and on.
And then it looked like she was going to give him the rose. But then she was finally like, no, I'm not going to make you happy.
No. All right, so after the date, Ari shows up at her bed. And she's making out with him in bed. And she's like, oh, I have this rose laying around. Do you want it? And he was like, okay. If only it had counted right there. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so it's cocktail party time. And it's either going to be John or Doug. That's the losers in her group. So John, probably sensing that he's about to be cut, whips out his grandparents' funeral cards. It's like, look at this. Because she lost her fiancé. So she was all like, oh, I know that pain.
Is that why?
Yes.
Okay.
And Doug, well, it's his turn to go
This
into
was
the night.
really, really weird.
Yeah. He's shy.
He was like, I feel like I'm not as far along with you as the other guys. So she's like, ow, blah, blah, blah.
She takes his hand and puts it on her ass. And the camera cuts to it about 12 times during the exchange. They
He's
kept
weird.
showing his hand on her ass. It was the weirdest thing ever. All right, rose ceremony time. First rose goes to Sean. Second to Jeff. Then to Ari. Which means 2 guys are left and only 1 rose.
So she freaks out and she runs out to Chris Harrison. And he's like, what's up? What's up?
He's hoping to get
He's
that
like,
rose.
Am I getting the rose?
Uh-huh. So she's like, I don't think I could give it out.
So it sounds all like she's getting rid of both of them.
So we're all prepared to say bye-bye.
I was like, oh my god, yes, it's the Final Four next week.
But no, it's not. Chris Harrison shows up with a fake silver dish with 2 roses in it. Here's the extra rose you ordered, Emily. Is one for me?
So there's
Please.
still 6 left.
Yeah. All right. So next stop is Prague. It definitely looks like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory houses again. And we find out what? Ari dated
Ari?
the producer? Ari.
Okay.
He's airy fairy. All right. Till next week. Much love.